Good morning, Voltaire. Good to see you. You are indeed first. You are the nth. You are the zeroth. Is that how you'd say that? The zeroth person? Yeah. You're first. Good to see you. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Good morning, Zhang. Yes, Coffee Man is back. The man who pretends to write code and drinks a lot of coffee is here. Have no fear. Got Rock? Hello, Got Rock. I don't think I've seen you here in my chat before. So nice to see you. Hope you're doing well. Good morning, Omanian. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well, sir. What's on the to-do list today? Well, I want to keep working on that personal finance app, but I actually thought the first thing I would start with today is I think I might try to work on that Notepad app. I don't know if you guys remember, I was building a Notepad app for in an effort to learn Rust. And there's a couple features that I've been needing to implement to it before I like package it up to publish it. And so I thought I might take a stab at implementing one of those features. Yeah. So that's I think what I might start with, and then maybe circle back to the.
I'd like to say something.
Hail to the YouTubes.
Yeah. You are not late, Amani, and you are right on time. Let's see. Get checked out. Main. Rename. Let's see. Jeez. This. Lurk away. Lurk away, Amani, and lurk away. Saying we don't talk about the vertical only platform here. the the chatters that we do not speak of. That's funny. All right, let's get checkout. Be Stephen Freeborn feature add unsaved indicator. Also, I need to update the doing. We are working on adding an unsaved indicator to my Notepad app. It is written in Rust, by the way. I'm gonna watch the entire stream today. Well, you're welcome to hang out as long as you like to, Anub. As long as you would enjoy to. No pressure to stay longer than that. Okay. So the last feature I actually added to this, I haven't showed you guys this, but the last feature I added is the ability to pass a file path to the application on the command line, and that file path
Did we just become best friends?
Sam X Axe. Thanks for the sub, man. So now that file path will get used to initialize the state of the editor, which is pretty nice. That's kind of how Notepad functions. So that was the most recent thing I did. But now what I want to do is I want to know whenever I'm working with a file, I want to know that I made changes and that it needs to be saved. So I want to have some sort of like, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some little like dot next to the file name right here whenever it needs to be saved. That's very much how kind of Notepad handles it too. So that's the plan. Anub, do you trade? What do you mean, do I trade? What is this trade you speak of? Like, do I trade Pokemon cards? Like that kind of thing? Oh, stock market? No, I don't. Well, I am a investor, but I'm very much a passive investor. I do not actively trade like day trade. The only thing I do is I take a portion of my income every month and I stick it into index funds. And I either put it most of the money goes into VTI, which is the Vanguard Total Stock Market Index Fund, but in an ETF, and that's pretty much where I put all my money. But I don't try to time the market. Timing the market is too difficult because you have to be right twice. You have to sell high and then buy low, and almost everybody does the exact opposite of it. So the one thing I do that's a little bit of an active investment is I do keep kind of a pile of cash. Like I kind of consider it like my emergency savings, but I do kind of keep that cash stockpiled a little higher than it probably needs to be in cash. But my plan is the next time the market takes a tank, like next time it, you know, drives down, like next time we have like another COVID like event that drives the market down significantly in a short period of time, there's a certain percentage of that emergency fund that I'm just going to slice right off the top and put right into the probably VTSAX or VTI. Um, that's about the only active investment strategy I have at the moment. Doo-doo. Hello, D. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. What about you, Anoob? Do you day trade? I know some people legitimately actually do that for a living, which is pretty impressive. I'm too risk adverse with my money, you know? To me, it feels too much like gambling, and that's just because I don't have any skill at it, I guess. Hello, Viably Subtle. Good to see you. All right, so where do we want to add this? So basically, every time we edit a file, right, we need to set some flag on the file itself. So let's look at the file here. So a file has a content, it has path, and it has some markdown that gets set when we parse it. And I think what we need to do is we need to add a flag that's something like needs saved. Yeah, needs saving. Thank you, Copilot. That was very helpful. Are Trump's tariffs affecting your daily life? All the media are of the US is so sensationalist. I don't think I can believe them. So here, I don't think I've directly seen the effects of tariffs much myself. I mean, definitely we've been fighting inflation in the US for the last 5 years pretty heavily. And so maybe I've just become kind of desensitized to it. I will say my grocery bill here has been since 2020, my grocery bill for a family of four has just been like on a steep trajectory up. And so that's probably where I notice it the most. Gas, food, housing has gotten kind of expensive too, but I don't think those things have anything to necessarily do directly with tariffs, you know? Let's see, what's that? Need saving. False. Let's see, what else? Okay, I think that's the only flag we need. Now, what are you complaining about? Need saving is never read on by default. Well, it will be. I think that'll get fixed. So there should be a handler that we've got in here somewhere whenever we edit. That save file, view action, save as. So I think every time we edit, we should just set the state. There we go. There we go. Apply edit. This is where we want. So in here, we get the current file, we get the content, and we perform the action. So what we could do is I think we could say let file equals self.files self.current file. And then we could do the same action that we're doing here. Like that. And then we could do file.needs saving equals true. Why are you oh. File needs saving of struct file is private field. But aren't I in a private method? No, I'm in a public method. Oh, that's the state. That's probably the best place to do it, though. Right? So let's do file dot I mean, I don't really want to expose it, so I should expose some method. Debugging Git repo? Yeah. Here, one sec. Let me find it for you. One second. Oh, I should have put it in the description of the stream too. Here you go. At dev Jatine. There you go. Just do pub set feeds. What would be needs saving? How do I want to describe this? I guess we'll just do public front needs saving, mutable self.
Did we just become best friends?
Hey Igor, thanks very much for the sub, man. Appreciate that. That's super kind of you. Super duper kind. Status. I forgot how to type parameters in Rust. How do you do that? Comes after the variable name. Cannot borrow file is mutable as is declared as. Oh. Cannot move out of index. Move occurs because file is type file, which does not implement copy trait. What does that mean? Consider borrowing here. This is the problem I always have with doing a so I think this would be super easy to do. I think if I just did this, if I did file needs saving equals true, and I turn that to mutt, and I go here and I make this public, I think everyone would be happy, right? No? Nope, we're back to right where we started. Okay, so what do I need to do here to make this work? So this needs to be mutable. In mutt, you think? Now we're just trying stuff. Yeah, I don't think that's the answer. Cannot borrow as mutable. See, what's interesting though is that this works, I think. If we do this, let's do this. Do that. That works. Now what happens if we do the same thing? Okay, everyone's happy there. So we'll just access it that way. And then we'll come back to the view. We need to come back to the tabs. And whenever we render the tabs, where is the tabs? So we have our label and we have our close button. And then I want to add a circle, like a dot, next to, but for now, let's just do this. Let's say, what is this type? Okay, let's let this be label. Let label text equals if file dot needs saving, else do something else. So if there doesn't need to be saved, then it's just easy. It's just file display name. And if it does need to be saved, then we want to do, let's just do a plus for now. Sorry. And let's do plus file dot display. Cannot add string count requires an own string on the left. Okay, and we'll do label text here. Unexpected token. Where's that coming from? Okay. So now what we should be able to do is we should be able to run the application and see this working, hopefully. So let's go to the terminal. Let's do cargo run. Let's see what happens. Yeah, Kurtz, we're just taking a little breather to start with. We'll go back to the personal finance app though here in a little bit. I just wanted, this was something I've had on my to-do list for a while, and I just haven't spent any time working on it. So I thought, hey, to get started this morning, to get rolling, you know, little warm up. You know, sometimes you got to stretch. You got to stretch. Get kind of warmed up for the day. So see you, D. Good luck with your interviews, man. Hope they go well. All right, and then if I do, yeah, so you can see the plus up here. Let's see that. So now we just, whenever we save, we need that to go away. So let's go back to NeoVim. Let's actually get like an actual dot. Circle character. This. Okay. And then we need to probably go to the save handler, right? Go to the save handler. Where's that guy at? Switch tab, new, close, save, or save as. So in either case, whenever we do save file, task perform file saved. Yeah, file saved. Where's this event handled at? GR. Where's the references? Let's see. We are doing that in main. So when file saved, the handler saved file. We get a result. If it's okay, error. Okay, so if it's successful, this is where we want to say state dot. Let's see, how do we get a handle to the current file in here? Do we get a handle to the current file? State dot set active file save status. God, that looks ugly. But let's go see where we can do that at. So let's go back to the state. Is everybody happy? I think so. Whenever I'm writing Rust, I just wait for the compiler to yell at me. Seems like a valid approach. Okay. So let's see if this all works. Cargo run. Yay, looky there. Okay, so let's go hi. And then let's save. s.txt. It went away. Huh, it's interesting. Whenever I click, though, it marks the file as dirty. Just clicking into the editor does that. Now if I save it, that's great.
Did we just become best friends?
Kurt Odom, thank you for subbing. Appreciate that. Okay, so that's great. So the one thing though about my Notepad app, so basically moving my cursor around or clicking into the Notepad causes the dirty to be set, but I really don't want that. I really would prefer, let's see, let's go into our handler. Text editor action. What all is on this action enum? So let's do text editor action. We have select all, select word, select line, move, edit, drag, click, select, scroll. I think edit is probably the one we want, right? So if I say if action, how do I match for that? Let's see, Rust. Oh, I probably shouldn't hide chat from the screen, should I? Let's see. Gemini. How in Rust do I check if a particular value is a particular enum member, like in if statement? So I think I want this matches. Okay, so if matches action dot edit this. Mismatch closing delimiter. What? Oh, yep. You are in fact true. Mismatch closing delimiter. Again? Yep, again. Now what are you complaining about? Use of moved value. Oh, let's do that then. Well, actually, this really needs to happen. This really needs to happen here. Just slap a clone on it. It'll be fine. All right, let's try that again. Adarsh, hello Adarsh, how are you? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to the stream where we drink a lot of coffee, we write a little bit of code, and we yap way too much. Okay, that's better. There we go. Hi. This is my Notepad app. It supports Markdown. Okay, that's exactly what I wanted to do. There is still another feature that I think I want to tackle at some point that has to do with word wrapping, but I haven't quite figured out how to balance allowing things to scroll horizontally with also supporting word wrap. So that's like a future, it's like a future state thing. All right, let's take a look at the diff real quick. So we have our tabs. We added that label text conditional. Let's see, let's see. Oh God. Zen is trying to update. I need to uninstall that browser. Let's see, in Rust, can you concatenate two string slices? Join them. You must convert them into own strings using the format macro. Using string from, using the plus operator, joining a collection. I kind of like the format macro syntax, honestly, the bet of all the options. Where are we doing that at? We're doing that in the tabs. Kind of like, so if I did format like this, I did like that, did here, there. Yeah, I can live with that. I can live with it. No need to fuss about it. Let's see. Feature, display, indicator, when need saving. I guess I can actually commit everything under that.
I'd like to say something.
Just do in the format string.
Just do star in the format string. Hold on. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's smart. You're smart. That was kind of dumb, wasn't it? Now that you say that, that was a dumb decision on my part. Why can I not copy that? There we go. You are a smart individual. Whoops, I don't want to commit that. That's something I'm still working on. Cool. I actually need to delete that. So let's do git push. Oh, we already pushed in lazy git. And then let's do ghr create. No space?
I'd like to say something.
Uncle.
Unlike Star Trek, there's no space in that one.
Oh, really? Hold on. What are you talking about? I put a space in there, didn't I? Right here. Isn't that there'll be a white space, right? Kindle, what editor's this? I'm using NeoVim. Kindle, also hello. Keep Zen, you tripping? Dude, I have a huge beef with Zen. Like, Zen completely fucked up their browser. I know they don't think they fucked up their browser, but they did. They completely fucked it up. And here, this is why. Here, I'll show you. I'll show you why your NeoVim is crazy. You don't like it, or is it a good crazy or bad crazy? Also, NeoVim. Here's why the Zen browser is all fucked up, right? Why? Why are we syncing tabs across windows? This is the dumbest thing they ever did. And they try to act like it's a good crazy. How do I get mine like it? Oh, you can do exclamation point invim or exclamation point neovim, and you can look at my configurations if you want them. Yeah, no, that's what I want, Voltaire. This is exactly what I want. So yeah, your advice was right. Hello, Minister of Defense. Long time no see. How are you doing? GHPR create. Agree on that Zen feature. It is dumb. I don't know why they did that. And if you go look at the GitHub issue on that, there's a bunch of people complaining, and the maintainers and creators of the project are just like, we don't care. Fuck you guys. We're not giving you any way to make it back to the way it was. Which is like, okay, fine. I'm just going to go back to Edge. Chillaxing and maintaining. Well, that's good. That's good. That's the best way to be.
Did we just become best friends?
Akaz07, thank you very much for the sub. Appreciate you. We want to rebase and merge, delete the, but we do not want to do that. Git branch. Well, actually, hold on. Do we want to do that? I think. I think we do want to actually git checkout main, git branch, git branch delete. Git branch, git push. Cool. And then let's go ahead and install this on my local machine. See how this goes. Nice to see your stream, man. Have a good night slash morning. I appreciate you interacting with the chat. Of course, yeah. Thanks for stopping by, Kindle. Appreciate you. We're here every morning. It's morning for me. It's 5 a.m. now, but usually I start streaming about 4:15. So you're welcome anytime. When will devs ever listen to the community? Good apps always get ruined like that. Thank you very much for the cheer, Voltaire.
Cheer 100 out of points.
Appreciate you, man. That's very kind of you. So Kurtz, I have different feelings about this. Like, I'm not really angry with them that they won't listen to me.
Voltaire's puppet is telling you to drink some coffee.
Thank you, sir. I'm not really angry at the people who make Zen. I mean, at the end of the day, it is their library. They're entitled to do with it, what they want. It's just unfortunate that, like, to me, like, I'm kind of biased as a quality person, but, like, you shouldn't break user space, in my opinion. Or if you do break user space, you should have some way for users to revert the behavior back to the way they wanted it, right? It's one thing to build something and share that with people and tell them, like, hey, this is we're actively going to make breaking changes. To me, it's another thing to have a product that's out on the market that lots of people are already using and have established workflows, and then just completely disrupt how those people do their work in the thing you make. And granted, it still is their project, so they're allowed to make decisions that fit their vision. And I guess that's the benefit of being in a place with competition, because that means then as the user, I can also make my decision not to use their product anymore, which is unfortunate because I think the Zen browser is very aesthetically pleasing. But I don't know why anyone needs their tabs synced across windows. I still don't understand that workflow, but apparently there are people who do understand that workflow. I must not be the target audience. Good morning, Rookley. How are you? I finished my 5 interviews for last week. The recruiter wants to call me. Don't know if it's good or bad news. My ego can't take a rejection. You'll be fine, man. Whoever gets you will be lucky to have you. But congratulations on finishing the 5 interviews. What a slog, man. What a slog they put you through. Good morning, Blackfire. Good to see you. You are a little late, but it's no worries. We just got done implementing a feature in our Rust Notepad application. And so now we can do stuff like this. Let's see, we can create a new file. OneDrive, desktop, YT, notes for stream. And then we can do hold on, wait, what? Where's my save indicator? Did I not pull? Oh, I didn't pull. Dang it. I gotta install again. Is it a good sign if the recruiter wants to call me on a Saturday? I would think so. I mean, why else would a recruiter want to do work on a Saturday? I feel like that's a good sign. Let's see, to-dos. Dude, no way. Did I just... Okay, hold on. Did I literally just blow away all the changes that we made? What the hell? How did that happen? I'm so confused. You have to be kidding me. Oh my gosh, dude. No. No. So where did all these get put? Where did they get merged? Merged one commit into main 6 minutes ago. Oh, whoops. Okay, it's not actually pull. Sorry, it's not actually stash. Hold on. Get. I was like, what the hell? Where are my changes? I'm gonna get stash. I was kind of panicking there for a second. It was there. I just every time I was pulling from main, it wasn't wanting to actually pull the changes because it was going to overwrite local changes. That's my bad. RIP. Good morning, Ryan. Good to see you. I've got an hour and a half drive ahead of me, so I'm lurking. Lurk away, man. Hour and a half drive. What are you doing on a Saturday morning? Hour and a half drive. Hopefully it's not work related. Hopefully it's fun related. There we go. There's our save indicator. We be making changes. We be saving changes. I do wonder, though, should a new file have a save indicator set to now that I already implemented this, now I'm kind of thinking that for new files, they should have the save indicator. Yeah, that was a git check out the new files should have save indicator. Yeah, also if you control Z, I don't think I support undo. I don't know if I support that. Let me see. Yeah, I don't support undo redo. I'd have to implement them, I think. Let's see. So let's do real quick. Let's make that change, and then we'll switch over. We'll work on the finance app after this. So let's go to File. Default file. Let's see. We've got a couple places where you have to deal with this. So when we initially boot the application, we have the state.new thing here. Then we get a default file.
Happy Saturday. Buying you some coffee.
Oh, dude, that's way too kind. Thank you very much for that. That's more generosity than you need to show me. So thank you very much. I wonder how the performance is this for Rust versus building it in WinForms. I have no idea, honestly. What is this app you built? It's just like so if you ever use Notepad on Windows, Rookley, this guy. I just built an application that sort of replicates some of the basic functionality in Notepad, but using a Rust library, a Rust GUI library. So I think the right solution here is to set this to true. And then when we're booting the application, where are we? In main, when we're booting the application, if they gave us a file, and if the path exists, I think that's the answer. So if we're going to set the active file path to the path. If the path exists, it doesn't need to be saved, right? See, if I do Zoea, and then if I do OneDrive, desktop, and let's just say brand new.txt. This thing, is this file on disk? I can't remember how I implemented my own feature. So it's not on disk yet, which means I have to save it. So that means only if the path exists, do I want to load file. Well, load file, what does that do? That file opened. So whenever we open a file, handler, where are we? Oh, I'm sorry. I realized I covered up chat. My bad. Is this a native Windows Rust solution, or is it using something like Tari? Tari basically being Electron. No, it's native. It's native. It's all Rust. There's no web, no HTML, no CSS, no JavaScript. It's all Rust. Rookley, I use Notepad all the time. I do too. People make fun of me on stream because I use NeoVim to code, but then all the time I use Notepad to like capture quick little pieces of information. And I don't know why I do that. I just at some point I picked up that habit of using it, and so whenever we were thinking of things to do when we were learning Rust, that was one of the things that seemed like it made sense to do. I was like, well, let's build an alternative. Okay, so I have this message, but I don't think I'm using it anywhere. File opened. How am I using this? Excuse me. We have message, main, file open calls handler open file. Oh, there it is. Okay, state open file. Current file index. Set content. I think that's also. I think this is also where we want to do self.files. Yep. Copilot guessed it. So whenever we open a file, we'll set it to not needing saved. Which means then otherwise we want it to be. Where does the state, we have the state from function. Where is it? Error opening file, no write since last change to overwrite. So where does this get called from? State new, we have the default. And if we go here to file, we have a from method. Where does this get called from? Call it in state. Why are we setting that there? Do you guys remember why I did that? When we open a file, we set the need saving to false. I don't know why I put that there. Or did I just do that right now? I think I just did that right then, right? But why is that handler, why did I do that? No, that's two different methods. There's open file and open file, and I want opened. Oh, no, okay, so the message in the main calls the opened file handler, which calls the open file on the state object. That's why I put it down there. Okay, that makes sense. So let's test this really quick. I was going insane there for a second. So if we do cargo run, see what happens. So I'm hoping that when if I open the application with a blank file, we should see a save indicator, is what I'm hoping. Yeah, there we go. That's what we want. And then if we do here, and then we actually save the file, brand new stuff.txt, then the save indicator goes away. But if we add some changes, yeah, there we go. That's what we want. I think that's what we want. And if I open a different file, yeah, that's right. Then if I do a new tab, yeah. And if I switch tabs, that should remain there. Okay, cool. Yep, that's what I want. Obviously, if we're here and we save, that shouldn't get rid. But if we're here and we save, yep. Okay, I think that's right. Famous last words. I think that's what I want. Let's see. Yeah, it's also nice to use your hands to write things down. I have a little whiteboard next to me that I use all the time. Yes, whiteboards are great. Yeah, I have a big old whiteboard in. I set up a little like working space out here in the basement, and I have a nice big whiteboard that I put out there for capturing notes. Let me command line. Oh yeah, I should try that, shouldn't I? Let's install. Let's do cargo install. Let's see what that looks like once we install it. Grand Admiral Thon. Instead of using terminal, try Z IDE. It has Vim support. I'm really happy with NeoVim, honestly. Oh, whoops! I gotta close this. Yeah, I like NeoVim. I like VS Code. I really don't have a desire to try something new at the moment. People have been telling me to try Z, to try Helix, but at the moment I'm pretty happy with my editor options. Okay, so this is existing, so it shouldn't have an indicator. And then you said do brand new, which would be made up. Yep, which has an indicator. Cool. I like that. So let's go back to get status, get add, get commit m affix, I guess feature, display, save indicator on new files. Get push, GHPR create, GHPR merge, base merge, delete the branch local, yes, do that, submit, pull that down, cargo install. I still am gonna set up a way to publish this so that you can install it without having to compile from source. I just haven't done that work yet. But if you want to use it, you can use it. You just have to compile it from source. But I'll eventually fix that to where that's not necessary. Okay, so that's enough Rust for this morning. That was the first thing I wanted to do on my to-do list. And now we were going to switch over to the finance app, which is kind of in disarray right now because I made a bunch of changes to the logout form, and then I just left it completely broken. Whoops. Yeah, and I need to do, let's see, this goes to physical OS. And then we need one more terminal tab. Let's see, Control Shift T. Let's toggle focus mode. Rename this to Aspire. Let's capitalize it, Aspire. Let's do CD bat Aspire run. Actually, this might not even run, or my front end might not even run with its current state. So we have views, we have login view, we have components, we have the login form. Okay, so this is where yesterday Steven could not make up his mind how to expose this form API to his application. But I think what we settled on is we're just gonna pass down a function. We're gonna allow the consumer to pass a function. So we need to copy all of this. We're going to put this back in our login form. We're going to put that there. We are not going to do this. This is what the caller is going to pass us. To do call caller function. We need to go get the state function out. That. What else? Login view comes here. This can get rid of, so basically they can get rid of all of this. And this is going to be called handle valid submit. And this is going to take a prop that's called on valid submit. Handle valid submit. We're not going to handle an event. We're going to pass a prop. We don't need the form state here anymore. The form state comes from here. That. So you say not form state use value. It's like this. Looks good. Let's remove that. See you, Voltaire. Have a good day. Berkeley, how did you go about planning your finance app? Like the database, the entities, the front end, not the styling, but the pages and the data it will display. So I haven't really planned much on the front end. The back end, I kind of knew up front that I wanted to use a minimal API and I wanted to use the Plaid API. That was really the only planning I did. And then I just sort of sussed out the data model and the tables and everything based on what Plaid's data gave me back. Or Plaid's API gave me back what data they returned. And I just kind of built the domain models around, okay, I know I'm going to want to keep track of accounts. I know accounts have balances. I know I want to keep track of balances over time. I know I want to keep track of transactions. I just kind of like, what are the things that my application wants to track regardless of who the data provider is? And then the inspiration for that thinking was looking at what data Plaid handed back. So I could see like Plaid gives me an institution, they give me an account, they give me balance information. So then I just kind of picked out of those API contracts, like what are things that I would want my application to have stored in it regardless of what provider I was talking to. And so I just built the data model around that. But yeah, not a ton of planning, right? Like I'm just kind of figuring it out and wading through it as I go. I often feel like you can spend hours and hours planning, but oftentimes you're going to have to adjust that plan anyway.
Did we just become best friends?
Might as well start writing the code. Macco, thanks for the subscription.
Did we just become best friends?
Nikolai, appreciate you subscribing. It's very kind of you guys. All right, so we need to define this on valid submit, right? So let's go to login form, and instead of define emits, we're going to have some props, and we're going to define those props, and we're going to say this is called on valid submit, and it's going to be a function. And that function should just be a promise void, but it should take state, form state, login, form state like this. We say await, and we pass in form state dot value. Yeah, looks good. Now let's try it. Man, we probably spent 30 minutes wrestling with that yesterday, only to end up right back to where we thought we were going to. That's so funny. Let's see, Aspire. Let's go to the dashboard. Yeah, I don't know about, do you all plan out your projects quite a bit? Like, do you guys whiteboard your stuff out? I don't typically do very much. I mean, I did a little bit. I guess I shouldn't say that I didn't do any. I did do a little bit. Like I did this. We did a little bit of whiteboarding, but it was more of just kind of going through an app and kind of listing out the core features we wanted for the application, the technologies that we were planning to use. So we did a little bit of whiteboarding, but I don't really have like a flushed out end-to-end plan. I just kind of have a general idea and then just tried to keep solving one problem after the other. Pen and paper all the way. Okay, fair enough. Pooping pigeon. Nice username. Should I use AI for programming? You should if you want to, man. I have no interest in telling people what they should or shouldn't do. I just try to share kind of my thoughts and my feelings, and but your guys' thoughts and feelings are equally as valid. So I'm not using AI a lot to author code. I'm still using AI quite a bit to like, think through ideas and get answers to my questions and explore new things, but I'm not typically having AI do the implementation for me. That's just my preference right now. I think a lot of my growth and enjoyment, the growth in my skills, I feel like comes directly from experience doing implementation in code. And I think a lot of my enjoyment comes from actually writing the code. So I still try to leverage AI where it makes the most sense for me and where it feels good. But when it comes to actually building stuff, I try to sit down and actually write the code myself. Doesn't mean sometimes I write code that AI generated, but at least I know what I'm writing. I know why I'm writing it. I agree with kind of the implementation choices, right? So it's not. I just have anxiety about over reliance on LLM. Like from my own experience over the last couple of years, it just seems like the more I write code with large language models, the more easy things that used to feel easy feel hard, and I don't like that feeling. So it's completely up to you. It's a tool, so figure out where it fits best in your workflow, and if you really enjoy it and you feel like you just want to be an agentic
Did we
developer,
just become best friends?
Techie Pond, thanks for the sub. Do that. If
Did we just become best friends?
JD Mario, thanks for the sub. If you feel like AI if you have more anxiety about it like I do, then maybe try to find a different way to work with it. Good morning, Inspire. Good to see you. Good to see you, Sai Sheriff. Let's see. Yeah, for this project I'm currently working on, I planned out the whole database before I started writing anything. Nice. Okay, so we've got some planners in the chat. I like it. I'm probably going to self-host, though, because I'm brokey. Yeah, and the cost of LLMs is just insane. The amount of money people are spending on inference is wild. I spend $20 a month, I guess, on AI tools. I spend $10 a month on Copilot, and then I spend $10 a month on Gemini. But some people are spending hundreds of dollars on these AI tools, and I think that's wild. Right. I have a general idea of what I want the project to do. I then brainstorm features that are needed to do those things, and I order them by importance. Yeah, see, that's kind of, Ryan, that's kind of as much planning as I do myself, too. Personally, I use AI to learn new concepts, not to code. That's up to you, though. Yeah, see, and I'm kind of in your school of thinking, Size Sheriff. I think you should leverage AI in the way that feels best for you. Obviously, I totally understand that some of you guys are in employment situations where your employer is like mandating that you use these things in particular ways, in which case you just kind of have to get along. You got to go along to get along, right? They're the ones paying your salary, so you do what you got to do. Bite Cubes, wow, you have many viewers. I do have many viewers. I haven't been keeping an eye on viewership, actually. I don't even have anything on my screen right now that I can see the viewer count. Oh, I guess I do on the terminal. Let's see. I don't know what happened. The viewer count went away. 74. Oh, nice. Well, glad you're all here this morning. I think I'm just going to do inline completions. Nothing wrong with that, Pooping Pigeon. Go for it, dude. Inline completions. Nothing wrong with that at all. Agentic development is actually difficult. The state machine stuff with small agents. Yeah, I mean, my experience with doing agentic development has been one, it's very boring to me. I just want to go lift weights. And then two is I can't keep up. I can't keep up with all the context. Like when a agent makes changes to like 10, 15, 20 different files, it it makes coding unfun because then I just have to spend like, 20, 30 minutes looking through all the files to see what it did. Um, so yeah, I don't know. To me it's just not an enjoyable way to code, but I know a lot of people are enjoying it. So, some people don't like to lift weights and I like to lift weights. So I think it's totally fine to have difference of opinions and preferences. I think it's totally okay. I just locked myself out without an internet. Other ways are just wrong, by the way. Can't convince me otherwise. That would kind of be an interesting experiment, is like code for a whole day without access to anything from the internet. Like you can only use your LSP language documentation and your own kind of know-how. That might be a fun way to, which is basically like going back to 2020 or going back to 19 whatever 85 or something prior to the internet. Berkeley. So something my professor just suggested about using AI to learn how to program is that you just don't make those same neural connections that you would without using it. And so Rookley, that's my anxiety. My anxiety about AI doing all the work for you is not that AI can't do it or that AI isn't capable or that LLMs can't make you more productive. My fear is that the effect that it has on you as an individual, as a human being, is different, and we don't really understand that yet, right? So it's kind of like imagine if you had to get in shape through actually working out versus taking a pill. Like the end result is the same. You get in shape, but the process of working out has an effect on you as a human being. It changes something about you mentally, physically, that I think you miss if you were just to take the pill. Right? So it's like you could do it more productively and more effectively, but I don't think the impact on you as the individual is the same. And that's where like this whole idea of like software engineers learning how to guide or orchestrate agents by using their experience and their intuition and their taste and their experience. How does a programmer get that intuition, taste, or experience if they don't actually put in the work themselves? So that's where I'm sort of in this place personally where I just don't want to be the guinea pig. I'm going to let other people be the guinea pig. Like they can figure out whether or not agentic coding or coding with LLMs actually helps them become a better engineer. I'm just not convinced that it will make me a better engineer at this point. So I kind of like your professor's suggestion. Kirk's jinxed it. I don't know what I jinxed. Now I have become the agent, the destroyer of codes. Let's see now. You should look up small agents. You write state machines, not generating code. Let's see. Small agents. I've not heard of this. Small agents. Let's see. A bare bones library for agents that think in code. Small agents is a library that enables you to run powerful agents in a few lines of code. The logic for the agent fits in approximately 1,000 lines of code. First class support for coding agents. Tool agnostic. Here's the demo. I'm not sure what it's doing. I see lots of text, but I'm not sure what we're doing. See, it's doing something other. I'm not really sure. How do code agents work? Mostly like React agents. The exception would be the element who writes its actions as Python code. Huh, that's kind of interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. It's not really. I'm just again. It's like I'm not. This isn't really what I'm interested in doing. I have no interest in. I have no interest in using agents to write code. But that's just me. It doesn't have to be anybody else. So if you're interested in agentic coding, you might go check this out. It's been so long, by the way. It's me, Ruben. I changed my profile name and that. Yeah, I don't even remember you, Ruben, but nice to see you here. Glad you're back. Now for web projects, I use Payload CMS, which you build the database as you go by defining data structures, which are then mapped to a schema. Very cool. Very cool. I've heard of Payload CMS, but I've never used it before. Don't text while driving, Ryan. Ryan's probably doing speech to text. Kurtz, you lose critical thinking when you rely too much on AI. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, that's just been my experience is like the more I use AI, the less active I am in the process, the harder things feel whenever the AI goes away, and I don't like that feeling. But for others, hey man, you do you. You live your life. I'm not gonna tell you how to live your life. Nobody knows how all this stuff's gonna work out, right? And we won't know for another 5 or 10 years. So, alrighty, there we go. It works. That's exactly what I wanted. So now what we need to do is go ahead and let's merge this. Oh, let's actually now write our test. That was the whole point of doing all this, was so that we could write a component test. So let's do where are our tests? They're in here. So let's do login form spec.ts. Let's do a little copy in here. Login form. And we'll do this. Test has no assertions. Well, it will. Hold your horses. It should have expected fields. Or let's just do, it should have username field. It should have password field. What else? It should require username field on submission. Should require password field on submission. What else? It should clear the errors, right? That's another behavior that should be there. Should reset error state when new input is entered. And then we should say, let's see, it should disable login button while submitting. I need to go blow my nose. Should re-enable login button when submitting fails, or I guess completes. And then it should call the onValid submit function when submitted with valid state. It's interesting. It's the validator should probably also be passed in, really, right? Like right now, we're letting the form dictate.
Did we just become best friends?
Surius, thanks for the sub. Appreciate that. So I know some guys that vibe coded their way through undergrad in comp sci, and they can't write simple quality code. They will get an index out of bounds, take that message, and stick it to AI. Yeah, and that's fine. Like if that's the way software engineering or people who do computer science in the future, if that's the way they're expected to be, that's fine. That's fine. But like I want to be an engineer who can like sit in a room full of really good engineers and hold my own. Like I want to be able to talk shop and express my thoughts and understand what they're saying. Like you know what I mean? Like I don't want to be somebody who has to like quietly like type on their phone like what is a reverse proxy, you know, in a room full of really smart, capable, intelligent people. I also want to be a smart, capable, intelligent professional or engineer, right? And I would feel that way about any profession or any discipline. I felt that way when I was a personal trainer. I felt that way when I was a medical scribe. I felt that way when I was a food scientist. So maybe that's just a me thing, like a personality trait that I have. Um, Again, I'm not trying to pass judgment on those people who choose to operate in the world that way, but that's just not how I want to be. Would you ever use a RAG for the company you work for? You mean, would we ever use retrieval augmented generation, Kirk? Is that what you're talking about? Steven, have you heard of that Claude bot or whatever it is? I have, yeah. I have heard of I think it's called OpenClaw now. Yeah, I've heard of it. Let's see, Size Sheriff. Yep, I felt myself losing confidence in my own design decisions, which really scared me, to be honest. Exactly. Exactly. I don't want to have to go every time I think about an idea or think about a decision. I don't want to have to go confirm it with an LLM, right? I want to have some confidence in my own knowledge. The only caveat for me is some people are baller at WordPress and Elementor and make $100 to $400 per hour without writing any PHP. If it solves a business use case and someone wants it, then so be it. Yeah, and I have no problem with that either, Kirk. Like, I'm sure there are people who are probably vibe coding applications that are going to end up making more this year than I'll make as a salaried employee, and that's fine. Like, that's okay. Pride in your work, yeah, same. Yeah, same. If I had to sit down and if I ever got the chance to meet Stephen Tobe or David Fowler, like I would just like to be able to hold a conversation with them, right? And not feel completely like I would still feel small, but I don't want to feel completely like incompetent, right? One sec, I gotta blow my nose. I don't know. I guess it goes back to that idea that the Primogen talked about the other day. Well, it's probably a couple months ago now, where he talked about like being good or being competent is fun, and I guess not everyone believes that. Okay, so let's do this. We want to wrapper mount app. Okay. So we want to mount the equals mount our login form. Also, this should be login form. And then wrapper. What does wrapper expose? We have get, find, text, props, find all, set props, is visible, find components, find all components. So if I do get, what can I pass in here? I guess I should look at this library. View test utils. View test utils. It's been a while since I've done any testing like this. Let's see, getting started. So it's just a selector is what you pass in there. So how does this how does this interact with the testing library? If I wanted to bring in the testing library, does this play nicely with it? Let's see, view test utils plus testing library. View test utils is the official low-level library that offers core utilities for mounting and interacting with Vue components in an isolated manner. Vue testing library is lightweight wrapper. Yeah, I kind of like the Vue testing library because it has some really nice APIs like get by text, get by role. So maybe I don't need test. Maybe I don't need test utils. I don't know. Let's see if we can make this work here. So let's do const username equals get username. And then we can do expect username dot to be what? Oh no. Oh no. What have I done? They said expect to contain. Well, no, I just want it to be defined, I guess. To be, what does this return if it can't find anything? Test utils. Hello, the Bash script kid. Good to see you. Let's see. Yeah, RAG. I encourage people to use agentic tools so they understand what they are. I had my last interview today, and they don't allow LLM use, so it's an objectively worse way to learn being a dev. Oh, interesting. But the students today aren't going to work through the AWS problems that we worked through in the past. Therefore, newer devs should embrace agentic development versus writing regular REST APIs. I mean, that's definitely fine. That's definitely a completely valid opinion. I guess we'll just have to see how all this plays out. Fadid, thanks for subscribing. Yeah, we use RAG. We actually have done a RAG implementation at work. It's, to me though, RAG, like people, I don't know, I have mixed feelings about RAG. I feel like RAG is a very brittle solution to solve a problem, to solve a very inherent long-standing issue with LLMs. I think it's it's interesting, but I think it's brittle. I think it introduces all kinds of issues with data synchronization and replication when you start thinking about data stored at scale, and you start thinking about, okay, so I basically have to duplicate every piece of data to make it available to the RAG system. So if I have data stored in one format that is serviceable to users, I have to figure out some way to make sure that that data is always up to date and embedded in my embeddings database so that we can use it in the RAG pipeline. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it. It definitely solves a problem. It definitely can be useful, but I think there for a little while, RAG was sort of like everyone had a hammer and everything looked like a nail. So it's like, oh, we can use RAG for that. We can use RAG for that. Let's put RAG there. Let's do RAG this. So yeah, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it. The Bash script kid, what language lang is this? Doesn't look like JS. This is Vue. We're looking, or this is, or what I'm writing right now is TypeScript. We're just writing tests. But the front end, maybe the components you're talking about, the login view. This is this is a Vue single file component is what you're looking at right here, uh, which may be why it looks weird to you. I would love to see a study that compares how experienced programmers versus people who use AI as a crutch prompt AI differently. Yeah, I think I I think that's another example of where AI is going to drive an inequality. Like there's definitely going to be AI. AI is definitely going to drive inequality in the sense that the people who can afford to spend lots of money on inference are going to get the benefits of AI, and people who can't afford the cost of inference are not going to get the benefits of AI. But there's also a inequality that's going to happen in the software engineering profession where if you're somebody who's already had the luxury of being able to become a master programmer over the last 30 years, AI is just going to feel like a superpower. Like it's going to be like Superman standing under the Earth's sun, right? And then, unfortunately, for those of us, or for some people who have not had the opportunity to get good at programming or engineering at all, like they're very early on in their career, like maybe they graduated this year, uh, I think AI is actually going to cause kind of not a. I think AI is going to cause a cooling effect on how skilled they are able to become. Like if they're heavily reliant, that's my thesis is that you're going to have this huge widening in skill where you're going to have the people that are at kind of at the end of their careers, 20 or 30 years deep. They're going to be like superhumans, and then you're going to have this other class of engineers that are light years behind those folks. And so AI for those who are very senior is going to be an aid, and then for those that are junior, AI is going to be sort of this crutch, and it's going to steal their reps and their opportunities to get good. That's my thesis. I could be totally wrong, but that's what I think will happen. So, but it would be interesting to see someone study this to actually see like how they prompt differently and how they use it differently and how they what its impacts are on them. RAG is just a Scotch tape type solution because the problem is on the fundamental architecture of the neural network itself, which is stateless as fuck. Exactly, Bash Script Kid. Which is why I say it's this really brittle solution to an inherent problem. Good morning, Lorenz. Good to see you. Let's see. If you can structure data, then you shouldn't use RAG, essentially. In my opinion, however, these are systems that newer devs need experience with to grab the business domain solutions. It is what it is. Yeah, no, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, with knowing about RAG or being aware of it, for sure. Yeah, no, not going to have any pushback from me. Make an experiment where you compare a normie entrepreneur asking for a website and a differently experienced developer asking another developer on how they ask stuff, more or less. Well, yeah, it's totally. Like, I think somebody was in chat the other day who was, they were sharing, like, I've been vibe coding and whatnot, and I've never really coded before. But it was interesting because that person basically said, I think I might need to go and learn to code so that I can get better results from my vibe coding, right? Because we're talking about language, and so in order to be able to communicate the right prompt, you have to have the right language. But if you don't have a software development background, then you may not have all of the vocabulary you need to properly prompt the LLM, which I thought was kind of interesting that like somebody who only got into it for vibe coding reasons might be forced to go and learn how to code to be a better vibe coder, which is like this really weird meta circular series of events, but it makes sense. Stingy man, listen, AI is going to replace me having to fuck around with CSS for 10 hours. In exchange, it will get the job done in 10 minutes. Break in 2 weeks and have me debug it for 12 hours. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's half a dozen of the other, doesn't it? It feels like. I hope you guys never. I hope nobody ever takes away from my conversations or my thoughts that like I'm anti-AI. I'm not. I just think there's pros and cons, and I don't think AI is the answer to everything. I don't think software engineering's dead. Um, I think AI definitely has an impact. It can be leveraged for good, it can be leveraged for bad. It's just a tool. And so it's kind of up to the individuals to decide how they want to use it and leverage it. But I definitely believe AI is a capable thing. AI is going to lead to extremely poorly written and inefficient code when the old heads retire. Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, it'll be very interesting. Hopefully, I'm retired. Hopefully, like in 20 years. Let's see, I'm 32, and I think the number I'm aiming for right now is 52. So hopefully, in 20 years, I'll be gone before I have to worry about any of that. Hopefully, then I can just sit on this YouTube channel and write code and have a good time. Bad programmers will produce bad code quickly, and quality programmers will produce quality code quickly. I think that checks out. Yeah. At least they're willing to learn, unlike AI artists. I haven't heard that one. I'm an AI artist. I haven't heard of that. That's pretty funny. Let's see. I feel like CSS is something that won't be replaced because you are really creative. You can't take your ideas in your head and put it into words to prompt AI. Yeah, I think CSS will never be replaced for like the creativity aspect. You can definitely CSS if you want a site that looks like Vercel, right? Or you can definitely have AI generate you a site like that, right? But yeah, for anything that's like original, organic, I believe LLMs are objectively bad for our brains, and there are a lot of squatters in tech that hate writing software. So I think this will free a lot of people to find their real passion in life. That's kind of an interesting take. I haven't heard somebody express that like there are genuinely people who got into software engineering who don't really like software development or software engineering, and so LLMs is like freeing them of their bonds. That's kind of interesting. I haven't heard anybody say that yet. Info data, I use AI all the time. Nothing wrong with it, man. You do you. I'm not throwing shade at it. I use AI all the time. It's just I use it for the things I want to use it for, and I don't use it for the things I don't want to use it for. Personally, I use it extensively just to avoid lengthy typing and a lot of headache. Heck, I have 6 LLMs set up. Nice. Nice. 6 LLMs. Very cool. Nah, you got to work till you're 60. That's what the government says. Well, in the United States, I'm kind of jealous because in the United States, you don't have the option to have Medicare until you're 65, I think. So a lot of people, like, regardless of how much money you have saved, even if you have saved millions of dollars, let's say at a young age, healthcare still poses a big issue in the United States because you've got to figure out some way to have health insurance, and private health insurance is very, very expensive here in the United States. So I think a lot of people continue working purely for the benefits at some point if they've done well financially, uh, which is unfortunate. People like that's the one thing I'm kind of jealous of Europeans, and I'm jealous of Canadians. Like, gosh darn you and your universal health care. No, but honest to God, I use a local AI where I have given it no knowledge base outside of the libraries, tools, and documentation I use. And it's been pretty good given my general system prompt of lead me to the right documentation related to my current problems. That's really cool. That's really cool, man. I think that's awesome. I would love to do more with local AI. I just have such shit hardware. So whenever I do local inferences, it's just so painfully god awful slow. Kirk, LLMs are setting us free to be humans again. I guess, but like I don't know about you, Kirk, but I love this shit. I love typing my characters into this text editor. I really enjoy thinking about the problem that I'm solving and solving it and putting things in just the right. So like it doesn't to me it's like this is part of me being human. Like like if somebody again, I think I've said this to you guys. If someone today said, "Hey, you can take this pill every day and you'll never have to lift another weight again, and you'll be just as strong and just as mobile and just as resilient." Like it's good. You don't have to be in the gym. You can go do other things. I wouldn't I wouldn't take it. I like being in the gym, right? Like I like doing these things. I like writing code. I like lifting weights. I don't need someone to remove these things from my life. I'm not looking for an LLM to replace this activity, right? And I think that's the misconception, right? Is that like, oh, you don't need to do that anymore, so that's a positive thing. I was like, no, I'm not doing this because I have to do it. I'm doing it because I want to do it, right? Now, for other people, that's great. If that frees you from, if you feel differently, that's great for you. But that's not how I feel. If you need to consume an API giving an AI just sample JSON payload, it spits out 50 or so lines to consume it. Like I know exactly how to build it myself. I have to thank the LLM a little since they helped me publish my first complete project instead of just all idea but frames non-existent. Well, that's awesome, man. I'm glad you got something built, dude. That's awesome. I love AI. I use it often to help me learn some coding and set up my schedule. I definitely think that AI is good to help you learn. Of course, I ask a lot since I want to learn along, and LLMs actually taught me types, keywords I never thought would even exist, like volatile types. Well, that's awesome, man. I'm glad LLMs or AI in general has been very, very helpful for you. But there are people who work low-end jobs for 60, 70 hours a week. I think Kirk means that. Correct me. Oh, sure, sure. If you mean like, I mean, and what and again, I'm not trying to pass judgment. I'm just trying to share how I feel. I don't need an LLM to set me free. Like that's not what I'm looking for. But that's just me. Transpose. What's your preferred lifting split? I really enjoy push pull legs. I do too. So currently my split looks like this. I do push pull, but on each of the push pull days I do legs. So usually it's kind of weird. It's like squat with a pull, right? Or sorry, deadlift with a pull, and then squat with push. So like basically knee dominant movements on push days and hip dominant movements on pull days. And I'll usually just stack those together. But yeah, I don't really have a preferred one. I like them all. Push, pull, legs, body part splits are fun. Total body is fun. But right now, that's what my split looks like, is kind of a push-pull split. Kirk, I live in a jungle province, and these people make like $300 a month, but super happy and content. I think we're just conditioned to be consumers and don't provide the community with any value. Huh. I definitely agree that like you can be happy and content with very little. I mean, I think it's all kind of based on like what your baseline expectation is, you know? See, I run a 4070 Ti Super. It's expensive, yes, but it's not workstation hardware expensive. I'm playing around with MCP servers locally. I must insist, if you want to go the route of cool local knowledge base of documentation, please don't let it have internet access. The poor ArchWiki is suffering enough as it is. Yeah, still 4070 Ti Super is much better than any. I don't have any dedicated GPUs really in any of the machines I have locally. Well, I guess I have two laptops. Like I have one laptop that has an old 1660, I think, and another laptop that has a 3080 in it. But yeah, those are the only pieces of hardware that have GPUs in them in my house. Kurtz, how long are your workouts? They're pretty short these days. Like I might do 45 minutes at max, maybe 60 minutes might be the longest I go. No, there's no 2-hour long marathon workouts in my split anymore. Using AI won't set you free, they'll just keep you. Yeah, I mean, right now AI is being used to maximize productivity in like it's like basically it's kind of funny because basically we currently have it's kind of funny to listen to people talk about this, but basically what we have right now is we have a bunch of business owners, capitalists, whatever you want to call them, who have a bunch of employees, and they have this new shiny toy called AI, and they know that this new shiny toy, if they can convince their employees to use this new shiny toy, hopefully it will help those employees be more productive. but they have no intention of compensating those employees for any of that productivity or for learning how to use the new tool. In fact, I think most of them would hope that the productivity increases would lead to a need for fewer humans so that they could reduce their expenditure on human labor. Which is kind of funny. It's like this big psyop to like get people to buy into a technology that they're hoping that technology can then provide them more value, but they're not looking to compensate anybody who has to learn how to use the technology for that value. Yeah, it's a very interesting situation. You still work 9 to 5, but with 60% more workload than pre-AI. Yeah, exactly. And no, they don't want to pay you any more for your work, for your new workload or your skill set. I use a small local model on my Pi. Trust that thing much more than other smart assistants because I make it go beep beep boop. Nice. Very cool. New, we had an AI boom in the 70s and 80s. Yeah, what is new? Good point, Ryan. All right, I'm gonna go get some coffee and then let's try to write some tests. My streams always end up being a conversation about the plight of AI. Oh, whoops, whoopsies. Let's see, split up. Well, we don't even have real AI yet. These are just LLMs, but I really believe that freeing humans of work will remove their purpose and send us into a Great Depression. I mean, I don't need work to have a purpose, though. You know, for example, I just don't. Echo, go home. Oh, that's creepy. My TV just turned on and it was a scary movie ad. That freaked me out. I have no idea what's happening right now. Hold on one second. Oh, that scared the shit out of me. You're hacked. Oh man, there's a clip of me. I'll have to find that clip and repost that clip now that I have more subscribers. There's a clip of me on stream where I literally thought I was being hacked because my mouse was like doing erratic things, and it was really because my son was in the other room messing with a mouse that was Bluetooth paired to my computer. All right, I'm gonna get coffee. If you're not gonna stick around for when I get back, no worries. Thanks for hanging out. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in just a minute. BRB. All right, we're back. We're back in action. Vladstock, hey guys, can anyone help me? I'm a novice programmer and I'm having a weird bug in React where when I clear a use outlet context hook, an unrelated use state hook gets cleared as well. I've literally never heard of use outlet context hook. That is a new one for me. Use outlet context? I've never heard of that. There's a React hook that enables child routes to access state or data provided by a parent route's outlet context. Interesting. Huh. Well, I'm no help. I'm going to be no help with that, Vladstock, so maybe that's where you need to call in the AI, the almighty powerful LLM. Let's see. Let's see. Gets an element and returns a DOM wrapper found, otherwise it throws an error. It is similar to find, but get throws an error if an element is not found, while find will return an error wrapper. As a rule of thumb, always use get except when you are asserting something doesn't exist. In the case, use find. Huh. So I guess the test is this then, like, that seems weird to me. To be defined. I don't even know what you would say about that. Classes, trigger, set value, get components, element dot do stuff with it. Huh. Yeah, I guess I just expect username to be defined. Let's see. So if I do web and I do package JSON, where's my scripts? Oh no, that's package lock. A package.json. There we go. So we want test unit is what we want. npm run test unit. See what happens. Good morning, Lynx. Good to see you. Any advice to being a more accurate typer while coding? I'm not a very accurate typer while coding, but practice. I mean, I just think that's like reps, you know? Man, why is this taking so long to run? What's happening right now? 22 seconds? Did I screw something up? There we go. Cannot read properties of undefined reading value. Missing required prop on, oh, yep. We need to fix that. That shouldn't be a required prop. See, our tests already found an issue. Okay, mount, surrender. Oh, we don't need that test anymore. Cool. And then obviously this is not good TDD, because if it was good TDD, the first thing we would do is we'd write the test first. So if we comment this out or just delete it, fails. Should have username. Unable to get username. Yep, that's what we want. Okay, cool. So we just rinse and repeat. Sorry, I fell behind on the conversation here. See, it's usually rich people who try to convince other people that working so much gives them a purpose. I mean, no offense to you, it's just that I'm trying to understand your mindset. Yeah, I personally don't need work to have a purpose myself. There's lots of things in life that I want to go and do, and I don't need work in order to define that purpose. So, but if other people need work to define their purpose, that's, you know, that's their thing, not my thing. What stack are you using? Hey, Delusional Dev. Nice username. I like it. The stack I'm using is, we are using .NET and C# for the back end. We're using Vue for the front end. We're using SQLite for the database. And we're using Aspire for local developer orchestration. And then whenever we go to production, I will more than likely Dockerize the back end, and I will Dockerize the front end, and I'll have two containers that sit behind an Nginx reverse proxy, and they'll have one URL, so it'll probably be physicalOS.stephenfreeborn.com, and requests to that will go to the front end, and then any request to physicalOS.stephenfreeborn.com/API will get proxied to the backend container, and it'll just run on a small Ubuntu server. It'll either run here in my house. Actually, it might actually be physicalOS.freeborn.cloud is where I host this at. But it's a very simple stack. But one I enjoy, and costs me very little money. Costs me no money, essentially. I do have to pay for the Plaid API to some extent. I'm not sure what the cost will be there, but we'll see. Let's see, username. I wonder if a better way to represent this in the test is there like a not dot expect to throw? Expect not to throw error? Yeah, I feel like this is a better, maybe this is a better. Oops. Then let's see, require username on field submission. Not sure how quite to do that one yet. So you should have password field. What? Let's see, dot not to throw error. Expected DOM wrapper to be a function. Oh. Do I need to have like a const action equals? Well, hold on. Maybe I'm thinking about this wrong. Maybe I should be getting the DOM, and then maybe I should be like DOM dot element dot. How do I get like the type of an element? Let's see. Element get type. Let's see. Disciplined guy. Are you using TypeScript? I recently learned React and I'm struggling to code in TypeScript with React. So yes, I'm using TypeScript, but I'm authoring my front end in Vue and not React. But I understand your struggles with TypeScript when you pair it with React, because React has a lot of like utility typing that you have to lean into to make everything play nicely together. But I'm sure there's lots of good documentation out there on it. It just might require some Googling. Let's see, returns, tag name, string uppercase in HTML. Yeah, let's do tag name. So we'll do element.tag name dot to be input. How about that? And expect username dot element dot type. Shouldn't there be a type field on this, like input type? Let's see, it should to contain. This should be type. Text. Some of this is probably unnecessary, but let's do const password equals wrapper dot get. I've never used this Vue test utils. I've always used the testing library, so this is kind of new experience for me. Like, what kind of API does this thing have? Password.element. This should also be input, and this should be type. That should be password. Cool. Okay, that's interesting. So it kind of like gives you, it is a very low level. It is a very low level API, but that's probably nice for a lot of cases. All right, so how do we? Please stop adding. So how do we do an action? How do we do that? So let's say I've got the username like this, and I want to perform an action. Let's see. So we actually want to do wrapper dot get submit, I guess. So we're looking at the login form and we just want to get the button. So can I do this? And then submit button. It's interesting. So some of this, there's some implicitness. Like, I probably don't need these tests actually. Like, this is where like testing, trying to think about testing in a smart way. These tests, while they're fine, I probably don't need them really because like I could probably assert similar things here. But that's where like your tests then start get a little heady because then you have a ton of assertions. Like I'd have to assert all this stuff, plus assert there's an error message. So let's not do that. Let's just keep them. Let's keep them separate. So let's do submit button dot click. Is that how you do it? I don't know. I don't know how to do these things. Menu. Testing forms. Here we go. Interacting with form elements. Setting element values. Await input dot set value. Triggering events. Find button and trigger click. Assert some action has been performed like a submitted event. Okay. That's pretty straightforward. So we do get button dot trigger click, and then we do I guess const error message equals wrapper dot get. Oh, this should be awaited, shouldn't this be? Await, which now means this function has to be async. And we'll do get. I guess we'll just say username is required. Expect error message. See what happens here. So unable to get username is required within the form. Huh. So there's our button. Log in. So did that not trigger the event? Or do I have to trigger a submit on the form itself? See, submits a form, find, select, set value. As you can see, set value is very versatile. That's fine. To trigger submit handler, we use the trigger method again. Huh. Since form elements not connected to the document cannot be submitted, we need to use attach to connect the wrapper's element. What? Let's assume you have a very detailed and complex form with special interaction handling. How can we go about testing that? Attach to. Specify the node to mount on the component. This is not available when using render to string. Since form elements not connected to the document cannot be submitted, we need to use, okay. So view test utils, trigger form submission through button click. Tesla Wave, hey, like your YouTube shorts. Nice to see someone coding without AI. Well, thanks, Tesla Wave. That's very kind of you to say. Good to have you here. Good morning, Artwork Studios. Good to see you. Your setup is interesting. How does it show different things on Twitch and YouTube? So I use a piece of software called Meld Studio where I have a horizontal and a vertical canvas. And so I have a vertical canvas set up for YouTube, and then I have a horizontal canvas set up for Twitch. And I think OBS has some plugins that let you do similar things. I love TS with React and Next.js. I love TypeScript in general. If I can use TypeScript, I would much rather use TypeScript. Let's see, attach to the document body. Clean up after the test to prevent memory leaks. Do I have to really call this explicitly after every test? Okay, so we have to do this. We do attach to document.body. Oh, whoops, that's the wrong place. My bad. Attach to document.body. Now let's see if it works. Nope. Unable to get username is required. Oh no, there it is. It did work that time. So you can see the messages there, but how I'm getting it must not be correct. So how do I query for text? View test utils. Get. This is where React testing library would be. I'm trying not to give up and just go use what I know how to use. I'm trying to just stick with what we already have in the project. Let's see, view test utils get by text. Does not have a built-in get by text method. Instead, you can achieve this by using the standard query methods find or find all combined with the text method. Okay, so then I could just do we can just do expect wrapper.text to contain username is required. So username is required, received username is required, password is well, does that not use when you want to check that an item is in a list? For testing this item, do I have to do like to match maybe? To match? It's like a to match and then say something like that.
Did we just become best friends?
Erkin, thank you very much for subbing. Appreciate that. So view test util, or sorry, by test match for substring. Main string to contain substring. So why isn't that working? To contain username is required. It should it should match right there, right? Username is, oh, it's because I have a, oh, it found a typo. See, this is why writing tests is good. There's a typo. Let's see, where is it? There's actually two typos. Required. Also, I hate that validation function. Don't look at it. It's ugly. Don't look at it. There we go. There we go. Was stumped for a second. Alright, so then we'll do the same thing with this. Now, instead of username is required, we're looking for password is required. And let's do, should reset the state. So let's try, this one's a little more tricky. So we want to do, so basically what we want to do is we want to say, okay, we're going to do the same thing here, but instead of, I guess we want to make sure that the errors are there first, right? So we want to make sure that they're there. And then what we want to do is we want to say, okay, great, but now we're going to get the username input. Wrapper.get username password. And then we're going to say await username input.trigger input. I wonder if they provide a convenience utility in here that they talk about, view test utils set value, but I don't know if that triggers, does that trigger an input? Well, this is an old version. Test utils set value, does it trigger input event? Yes, and the set value triggers an input event on text input and text errors automatically after changing the DOM elements value. So we should be able to say, let's just say we set the value to Steven, and then I want to make sure none of you guys save this password because this is my super secret password that I use everywhere. So just hide your eyes. Okay, and then we should be able to do this again. This should be not. Yay, looky there. It works. I don't think we need to attach it to the body either, do we? Oh yeah, we do. That's how we trigger the submission.
Did we just become best friends?
Ziad, thank you very much for subscribing, and I apologize
Did
if
we
I
just become best
screwed
friends?
up your name. Eric Fish, thanks for subscribing. Appreciate you. Hope you're doing well.
Did we just become best friends?
Wosh Tech, thanks for subscribing. Man, I appreciate this. We've had quite a few subs today. Thank you guys. Yeah, it's a super secret password. Artwork Studios. Do not write it down. Okay? Don't you dare save it. then let's do here, here. Okay, this is going to be kind of interesting. So we need to get the button. So we'll do const submit button equals wrapper.get button. And then we want to trigger a click, and then we want to make sure it's disabled. So we should do await submit button dot trigger click. And I don't think this is going to work, but like this is what we want to do. Basically, we want to say submit button dot attributes disabled dot should, or sorry, I'm trying to write tests like I'm in C#. Expect dot to be true. Now I don't think this is going to work because I don't think there's going to be enough time. I think we need to basically delay. So let's add, let's see, props, and we'll say on valid submits. We are just going to do a little promise, await, await new promise, resolve, set a timeout. Let's call it 500 milliseconds, something like that. No. Okay. So how do I... Oh, it's got to be valid too. That's the other thing. So we actually need to set the value. Let me do this. Before we submit the button, we need to do this. Expected thing to be true. Okay. We should be submitting this. I guess we can test with a little longer delay. Okay, so it's not submitting. Why is it not submitting? Hey, what's up, Suas? Good to see you, man. What language is this? I'm writing TypeScript. Random jungler. Jungler or juggler? Jungler. I think is that's how you say that word. Jungler. I forgot that I was live. Well, you're here, Suas, and I'm glad you're here. Hope you're doing well. Good thing you can't replace stream, right? Yeah, I know. That's the danger of streaming, is it's easy to leak shit. Let's see. Hi, just tell me when you have time later. I'm new to programming. I need your suggestions as a new one here. Thanks. I don't know what you would like to know about. Ericanzinzi? I don't know how to say your username. I'm sorry. But I'm happy to answer any questions you have. Emmanuel, I just started college last week for cybersecurity. Coding, could you explain to me what you're doing and what's the purpose of it? Well, congratulations on starting college. That's a big deal. I wish you all the best on that journey. As far as what I'm doing right now, so I'm actually writing some automated tests for a login form that I built. And I built the login form as part of a bigger project that's basically a personal finance app. So the idea behind it is basically an application where I can sort of aggregate all my account balances and transaction data in sort of a single pane of glass, so I don't have to log into multiple bank accounts to keep an eye on my financial situation. But we're in the early days of the implementation of it, so we're adding automated tests or unit tests for the login form. Are you going to stream longer today? I probably stream for a little bit. My son's basketball game isn't until 5, but my parents decided to come up to visit, so they're actually here right now. So I'll probably stream a little longer, but not much longer. I'll wait until I hear some people wake up. I can usually hear footsteps above me, and that's a good indication that people are up for the day. Good morning, Uncle Pee Wee. What is today? Is today the day you get your new laptop?
Did we just become best friends?
Eugene, thanks for subbing. Suas, join Discord for help. Oh yeah, that's a great idea. Who was it? No, was it Eric? Eric Connezenzi? I don't know. I don't know how to say your name, Eric. I'm just gonna call you Eric. If you want to talk or have questions, you can join my Discord. It's discord.stephenfreeborn.com. There's lots of smart people in there that would probably be happy to help you. Let's see, I'll tag you. Here you go. Emmanuel, what's your streaming schedule? I have a command for that, Emmanuel. Here we go. Watch this. Schedule. At Emmanuel. There you go. That's my current streaming schedule. I stick to it pretty regularly. I think I've only missed 2 days this year so far. And we're almost 60 days into the year. So I've been pretty consistent. What's this testing library, by the way? So I am using ViTest as the test runner. And then to test the Vue components, I'm using, this is a new one to me. This is Vue Test Utils. I normally in the past have always used Vue Testing Library. And Testing Library is obviously super famous. That's the Kent C. Dodds project that has become kind of like a gold standard way of testing components across a variety of frameworks. But when the template that I used to set up or bootstrap this project had this Vue Test Utils library, so I'm just trying to use that to test with. So the question is,
I'd like to say something.
Can you check Twitch chat specifically?
yes, I can. Yeah. You mean like look at it? Yeah. See, I can look at it just by itself. Yeah, Twitch. I can look at each chat individually. Twitch, YouTube. Which, by the way, if you're somebody who wants a really great piece of software for streaming, the tool that I'm using for chat is called StreamerBot, and it is awesome. It is an awesome piece of software. So shout out to the people who make StreamerBot. Steven, sorry I could not attend your live streams. Artwork Studios kidnapped me. Oh, that's no good. I didn't even know you guys knew each other. Uncle Pee Wee, no, it didn't share my 30-30 day streak. Oh, weird. Let's see. Congratulations on the 30-30, though. That's awesome, man. Yeah, it doesn't show. It doesn't even show up on the Twitch UI. Like when I look at the Twitch stream, like the Twitch panel or stream manager panel, I don't see it there either. So I don't know why it didn't come through. Super weird. Super weird. Nice. Are you creating a mock DB for the data in the API? So whenever it comes to testing the integration between the front end and the back end, my plan is to use Aspire. So Aspire is the local dev orchestration tool that I'm using, and they have a specific testing solution that allows you to basically use your Aspire app host to bootstrap all the pieces of your application up on your machine. And then my plan is to then pair that with Playwright. And so what I'll do is I'll use the Aspire testing package to spin up all my resources, which will be it'll just be a SQLite database on disk. And then I'll use Playwright to actually like access the front end and make requests and whatnot. So it'll actually be like a complete end-to-end test. And then for my component logic, I'm just trying to move anything that has side effects like API calls. I'm trying to remove that from the component itself. Like for example, in this case, the request to my API, I'm having that be passed into the login form. and so the login form can be tested without having to worry about mocking out an API call. I can just give it whatever plain old arbitrary function I want and just validate that it calls that function. And so then I'll test the actual connection in the integration test. That's or in the end-to-end test, or at least that's my plan right now. All right, I still don't understand why this test isn't working though. So let's I guess let's print the, let's see, console log wrapper.text. Username, password, login. There must be something you have to do. Let's see, view test utils. Wait for or something. Is there like a wait for? Let's see, testing asynchronous. No, I don't want the old. Let's see, await triggering set value. A more common, cleaner approach to await is the methods that cause state changes, such as trigger or wrapper set value, handling external promises, API calls. Wait for all pending promises to resolve. So this is what I'm used to in view testing library. It's the wait for function. Let's see if Gemini can help me. Let's see, I'm working with, actually, hold on, let's see, is view test utils on GitHub? View test utils, GitHub. Let's see, import code. Hello, Antonix. I think that's how you say your username. Hello, how's Morocco? I've never been. Heard good things. I'm using view test utils to test a login component. I want to test that while the component is submitting, the submit button is disabled. The function that the form that the component calls on submission is arbitrarily passed in and can be sync or async. It doesn't. Let's see. How do I test this behavior using the library? And that makes me think I actually did not. Whoops. Okay, to test the submit button disabled using asynchronous submission, you need to handle the different timing of views DOM updates in the external. Okay. To test that, the button is disabled during the submission. You should await the trigger call, but check the button state before flushing any remaining promises. Okay. Shallow mount. What is that? Trigger the click. Assert the button is disabled while the onSubmit promise is still pending. Resolve the submission and wait for the final state. Flush your promises. Assert the button is enabled again. That doesn't work, Gemini. You're a liar. You are a liar, sir. Oh, I'm an idiot. It's just the It's just the. I'm an idiot. Let's see. It was working. So this, well, basically, I just want to check that it has, let's see, to contain disabled. I'm an idiot. So if we console.log submit button dot attributes. So we can see disabled is there, which is what we want. Doesn't matter that it doesn't have a value. It just needs to be on the element. So how do I check that something? Let's see. Is there like a to contain key or to have key or something? Let's see, beat test check if object contains specific key. I joined the Discord link, but I think you need to approve there to join. Yeah, for sure. I have an application thing on my Discord just to keep the riffraff out. One sec. I can approve you real quick. I figure most people who are just trying to troll won't take the time to go through this process. There you go. You're approved. You're in, sir. Okay, this can't be true. Is that true? I literally did not know that keyword existed. Is that a real thing? Let's see. Disabled. I had no idea. I learned something new about if this actually works. I learned something new. Okay, I did not know that. Or maybe I did know that? JavaScript in keyword? I did not know this. Is this new? This isn't new, is it? Damn. I feel like I should have known that. I feel like that could have helped me in a lot of code I've probably written. JavaScript in keyword introduced when? The earliest versions of the language has been a core part of JavaScript. Wow. I had no idea. Oh no, I did know this because I've done this before. I guess I didn't realize you could use it to check things, though. Well, that's really cool. Well, see, this is why you do this kind of stuff. You learn something new all the time. Okay, and then let's do, so we'll wait 500 milliseconds, and then we'll say it should disable login button while submitting. Yeah, and then let's do await flush promises, and then let's do false. Then we don't need this one. We don't need this test here. We received true.
Cheer 461 have some bits left that I don't use. I want you to have them.
Well, that's really kind of you, Tesla Wave. More kind than I needed. More generous than I deserve, I guess is what I should say. All right, thank you very much, man. I appreciate that. All right, so how do I... Let's say log out. Flush promises. Resolve the submission. Oh, that's kind of interesting. I kind of actually like that approach. How do I rerun them? Okay, so it's not, even though I'm calling await flush promises, it's not actually waiting.
I said something nice in chat. Read it bad, Sven.
Oh, yeah. What's up? What'd you say? Chart is moving? I don't know what that means. Steven is ignoring the... Hold on. Okay, sorry. I fell behind. Good luck. Let's see. You're not talking to me. It's really fun to be back in chat. Oh, nice. Well, thanks for being back in chat, Suas. Appreciate you. Kurtz, I don't understand the purpose of writing tests. Can't you just test every edge case when running the website? Don't make fun of me. I mean, you definitely can. Manual testing is a valid test strategy, but it's not particularly fun in my opinion. So if you want to do manual testing, you can most definitely do it. Great weather. You should come visit. You would like the food here? Yeah, I would love to visit Morocco. There's lots of places I'd like to visit. It's just so expensive to travel. Rim, did you change the project? I think in an hour ago it was that Notepad alternative Windows project. Yeah, so I worked on implementing a feature for the Notepad app that I had been wanting to do, and then we switched back over to the personal finance project. So it's Saturday morning code. We can do whatever we want. It's the weekend, man. It's a party over here. Good morning, Azura. How are you? Good to see you. Okay, I don't think Flush Promises does what it says it does.
Did we just become best friends?
Marco, thank you very much for the sub, man. I appreciate that. I mean, I guess we can do const We can try Jim and I's approach here, where we do a manual resolution. Let's see, const resolve equals hold on, how are you doing this? New promise takes the resolve, sets the resolve there. Okay, so we'll call this on valid submit. We'll use a let resolve submit. Oh, it will be used. It will be used. Don't you worry. Why is this complaining? It's not assignable type. It's not assignable type void. Type promise unknown. It's not assignable type promise void. Which type unknown is not. Okay. So we'll just type this as oh, actually, hold on. We don't even need to do that. We can just inline this. Go back here. Remove that. And then we'll do, we don't need to wait. Don't need this to be async. We can just say resolve submit equals resolve. And then down here we'll say resolve submit. It's not undefined. It's really not undefined. There we go. Do we need to wait though? I don't know if we need to do the await anymore. Yeah, okay, we still need to. Okay, cool. And then the last thing we need to do is we just need to make sure that it calls our function. So let's do same type of thing, essentially. But we're going to have a different, let's see, we'll set this to let was called equals false. And then we will do was called equals true. Why is everyone complaining about my... This needs to be async. And then I think the only thing we need to do is just expect was called to be true. To be true. Cool. That looks good, don't it? What if I don't click this? If I don't trigger the click, the test should fail, right? Yeah, just making sure it actually does what I think it does. All right, I think those are all the tests we need for the login form. Took me a little while to work through how I wanted to do that. Looks good though. All right, so we have login implemented on the front end. We have login implemented on the back end. I think there's one piece of this I'm still not terribly happy about, and that's the alert on the login view. So whenever the login fails on the server side, we just throw up an alert, which looks ugly. So that might be something we come back and fix holistically in the app and not rely on the built-in browser alert, but actually have our own pretty way to present that information. But I think it's fine for now. Let's do lazy git. Feature web finish implementing login on front end, or we don't need to specify that. Success! Let's see, do not forget item potency for these forms so backend can fully control browser reloads and multiple submits from login/register. I don't know if I understand what you're saying. I'm not going to have a register endpoint, so users are only going to be added through a admin tool on the backend, so there won't be any register. Login, I'm not sure what you mean about item potency for the login endpoint. Azure, every discussion in meeting these days is about AI, AI, AI. I feel lost in this. Yeah, I mean, we spent like 30 minutes this morning talking about AI. It seems like AI always comes up in my streams. I think the only solution to it is just is just to try to find ways to focus your time, energy, and attention on things that actually make you and your life better, and try to pay attention, try to sort out the things that you think actually matter. I mean, I don't think you should bury your head in the sand, but obviously, getting really worked up about AI or even spending too much time thinking about AI is just not a good use of time. No one knows where all this stuff's going to end. And when you're 80 years old, none of it's going to matter anyways, right? So I think having some perspective, finding other things to put your time and energy in, both mentally, physically, and emotionally, is probably a healthy response. Hey Steven, I'm losing my programming skills. My job is making me too comfortable. Any tips? Yeah, my only tip for that is just spend time writing code. Spend time building things. Dang. Yeah, go charge your phone. That sounds good. AI is a bubble. There's definitely a bubble. I mean, there's definitely real technology, Rookley. There's real technology in the current AI hype. But yeah, there's for sure a bubble. No doubt about that. Have a good day, Artwork Studios. See you, man. Tesla Wave. Our AI subscription was not available for a few days on work. That were some good days. Yeah, I can't imagine. I mean, I'm lucky. The place that I work is not AI pilled at all. So I feel very lucky because I know for a lot of you, you're probably in work environments where it's being pushed and leaned on, and you're getting leaned on pretty heavily. And so I have a ton of empathy for you, but I'm also very happy to be somewhere that AI is approved as a tool and you can use it, you can leverage it how you would like to. We have a policy and you just have to follow the policy. But there's nobody breathing down your neck like you must AIify everything. Steven, something is sensing my chat. You mean censoring? I don't know. I don't know, Suas, why something would censor your chat. Could be YouTube. All right, let's go ahead and get this merged up, and then we'll move on to the next piece of the front end, which is where we're going to do, let's see, get status. I think we committed everything, so we can do thpr create. Let's see, feature, add login, functionality, web, submit, do thpr merge, rebase and merge. We are not deleting the branch.
Did we just become best friends?
Tion, thank you very much for subbing. I appreciate that. It's very kind of you. Get checkout main. Get pull. All right. I think the next feature then now we need to figure out is adding and displaying institutions. I wish I had a better word than institutions, but that's what we're stuck with. Features. And we kind of have this partially already done too. So we already have the ability to add institutions, but we do not have the ability to display them. So if I get logged in here and I do password, we can look at my database, and I already have an institution in there. Let's see, open project, desktop, physical OS. Okay, so I already have an institution in there. This is First Platypus Bank, so let's try connecting another one. So continue without phone number. Okay, let's try some other fake. What other fake banks do they have? Plaid, testing banks. I guess let's try connecting Capital One. Where are we? Capital One. Need to log in. Then we'll say user good, pass good, mobile, and then the code we put here is 1234. Connect this checking. Continue. I need to fix that too. Okay, so I think it worked, but obviously there's no indication it worked, but I'm pretty sure it worked. Let's see, refresh. Yeah, so we have another one. There's a Capital One institution. So what we need to do is we need to basically figure out what the rest of that flow looks like. After we connect an institution, we basically need a way to display the institutions that we have connected on this page, as well as a way to then, whenever we connect a new one, we should refresh that that view. And right now I don't have a way to actually pull the institutions out of the database using our backend. So we should probably add that. Also, why is NeoTree not showing up? Okay, we're closed. We're going to close Neo then. And we're going to reopen it. Azray, how do you deal with corporate toxic coworkers? I have people with such bad opinions. I cannot pass opinion because I am new. Feel so out of place. The backstabbing, it's brutal. Yeah, that's just, I mean, office politics are a real thing when you work at a company. My approach has always been to just try to gravitate towards people who aren't complete and total assholes, and to avoid those who are, and try to limit my exposure to them. Obviously, it kind of sucks if the people who are the assholes end up being like your boss or your direct coworkers because there's nothing you can do to get away from them. That's where I would probably consider finding a different place to work. To work, honestly, people can really make or break a job. It's unfortunate that office politics are a thing, but they are. I mean, that's life, you know. Why is NeoVim frozen? I don't know why. We'll start over. But I feel for you, man. I feel for you. I wish I had better advice to give you, but I just don't. I just don't. Crap. Let's see. If this is the case, F YouTube. Please don't say YouTube uses some vector embedding thing to calculate if something is appropriate or not. I have no idea how YouTube does censoring. When we get artificial general intelligence, then we might be cooked. Yeah, I don't even know what I know what AGI looks like in like a movie sense. Like whenever someone says AGI, I always think of Jarvis, but I'm not sure what that looks like in real life. You know, like
Did
how
we
do
just
you?
become best friends?
Craig, thank you much for the subscription. How do you actually get there? I have no idea. You know, which one do you think is good to start first as a new programmer? Python, JavaScript, SQL, or C++? So Eric, I always point everyone at JavaScript. And I always tell people to go to Free Code Camp. So I always say go to https freecodecamp.org and learn JavaScript. That's always my advice. Chat has different opinions. Chat sometimes says Python's better. Some people claim that you should go learn C first. I point everyone to JavaScript and Free Code Camp. That's what I think. Tontai, is splitting pane more convenient? I don't know what you mean by that, Tontine or Ton. I don't know what you mean by splitting pane more convenient. Azray, so how did you start with this project? Can you tell me the flow? I'm starting with the project in Java to learn. So the way I started it was I started on the back end. And the first thing I did was started by adding authentication. So setting up how I was going to model the users and allow users to log in. And then after that, I moved on to some of the basics of like being able to retrieve information from the Plaid API and persist that information into my database. And then from there, I went to the front end and hooked up what you saw today, a little bit of the login form to allow logging in and logging out, public versus protected routes. And so now I'm going to go and connect I'm going to continue to further connect the front end to the back end. So basically build features on the back end that expose data that the front end can go and retrieve, and expose ways to allow the client to send requests to change or update data on the back end. And that's how I kind of approached it. This one requires context. Who else? My friend is spending money on VTuber girls. Me spending money, computer science nerd, dad, and yapping about computers. What is wrong with me? I don't know. I spend your money on what you want to spend your money on, man. You know what I'm proud of? My decisions. My favorite live streamer is a computer science nerd dad from Kansas. I don't even know if I would consider myself computer sciencey either. I just like to build things on the internet. If they will get to AGI, why AGI will do any work for them? Its systems will be smarter and better able to do what it wants. I do not think they want to get to actual AGI. Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, if you could get to an actual Jarvis-like thing, I mean, count me in. I'd love to have my own Jarvis. I would still probably write code, but I mean, I would love to have, it would be awesome to have a little Jarvis in your pocket, Like, I'm all in for that. Eric, thank you. Of course, yeah, that's what I would recommend. I shill for Free Code Camp. I think Free Code Camp is just such a valuable resource in the programming and developer community. And I owe a lot of my knowledge and capabilities to a lot of the free educational material on Free Code Camp. So I always recommend people go check that out. I hear really good things about boot.dev too. I would love to do some of boot.dev's courses at some point. It's just a commitment of time, right, to go through a course like that. So I haven't gave them a try, but I've heard really good things about their courses. All right, let's I think what I want to do is I want to start on the front end, and I just kind of want to think through what I want to display on the front end. And
Did
then,
we just become best friends?
Brandon, thank you very much for the sub. And then we can work from the front to the back. So like, if we know what kind of data we want to, if we know the view that we want to display on the web, we can kind of work into what data we want to expose from the back end. Obviously, we don't want to marry the API contract perfectly to the client, to the web client, because we might want a mobile client at some point, but I think that will help give us a better idea. So I'm going to go into the home view here, and let's just create an array. Let's just call it, for now, we'll just have some hard-coded data. Where's the best place to put this? I don't know. Let's do it just right here. We'll say, give me const institutions like this, and we'll have a ref. Oh my goodness. And I guess let's add a type too. So I'll type institution. Like that. And so we know the first thing we're definitely going to need a name, right? And I don't know if we need anything other than that quite yet. So let's go name. Let's just say we have capital 1. And I think the way I want to try to render this out is, let's do a div like this. And I think I want to try to do this kind of like a card. So this is what I'm thinking in my head. Oh, is it really 745? Holy crap. This is what I'm thinking in my head, is I'm going to have something like this, where it's like an institution, and then maybe institution, name here, put the name here on the card, and then maybe like the number of connected accounts, or something like this, and then maybe last, or maybe the date it was connected, something like this. Probably like a status would probably be good, like to know that your account doesn't need to be, the credentials don't need to be updated. And then there needs to be some sort of like add account button here for connecting a new account. So it's gonna be like a card. It's gonna, half of the card's gonna have some details. So let's do a V4. Oh, I know what else we need. We need an ID. So let's do ID. This would be a number. I mean, honestly, actually, the front end shouldn't even care. Like, it should just probably be a string. Like you can give me whatever representation of the ID you want. It just has to be a unique identifier. Let's just do 1 for now. And then we'll do value and source. So we'll say this is the institution in institutions, like that. And then this is mad because we don't have a V key. This will be institution.id, like that. And then for now, let's just say we have 2 divs in here. Let's assume this is going to be 2 halves of the card. And on this half of the card, we're going to have a name property. So we'll do institution.name. Okay, let's see what that looks like. It's gonna look very ugly, but we'll try to make it look prettier. Yeah. So let's try to create some sort of card. So let's do class. Also, my LSP is all messed up. LSP stop. LSP start. TSLS. LSP start CSS LS, LSP start HTML LS. There we go. Now the formatting looks good. I will make new components for card, then impo. What? I don't know what you're talking about. I know I can do it better, but it's fun when you do it by yourself. I fell behind here. You're using Plaid for transactions, right? E.g. bank platforms. Yeah, I'm using the Plaid API for retrieving bank account information. Waku Waku. Hey, Steven, long time no see. Yeah, it's been a long time. Which version of Vue in your project? I'm using Vue 3. Yeah, Vue 3. I'm actually using the beta version of Vue, which is, I think, 3.8 or something like that. Vue beta version number. I think it's 3.8. Oh, no, 3.6 maybe? Let's see. Releases. Yeah, 3.6 is in beta. 3.5 is the latest. Yeah, this is the one I'm using in my project is the beta release, but I think 3.5, this is the latest. Well, we are still live, no office today. Damn. Yeah, it's Saturday, man. We don't have to work on Saturday. Waku, I checked your Git 3 days ago, and your commit was so green. I try to code every day. Yeah, I try to write some code every day. So my Git, I usually have a commit on my GitHub activity. Rims, what are you building here? I cannot figure out from this stream. I'm building a personal finance app. Is what I'm building. Have you tried a vibe code? I have tried to vibe code. I've also tried to do agentic development, which is kind of the more sophisticated approach to vibe coding. And I get very bored. And the more I do it, the less I want to do it, which to me is a sign that it isn't for me. Because I want to do things that make me want to code more, not things that make me want to code less. So I definitely still use AI. It's a very powerful tool, and I use it when it benefits me, and I don't use it when it doesn't benefit me. Oh shit, I just realized it's Saturday. I have lost sense of time being in my room for days. Oh man, you need to get outside. You can go lift some weights or walk around. Enjoy life. Get out of your room. All right, let's put a class here. So we'll say class equals institution card. Let's come down here. Say dot institution card. And let's do display flex. Excuse me. And let's just do, to start with, let's just do background is going to be var bg surface to start with. Okay, that's uglier than sin, but but hear me out. Hear me out. Let's see. So we'll do around the container. We'll do, let's see, we'll call this institutions container. So we'll say dot institutions container has some padding. Let's just call it 1 rem to start with. That looks fine. And then let's put some padding in the card. Let's do padding 1 rem. And then let's do okay, hold on. So I don't like the fact, how are we going to handle that? See, because I have this drawer, this sidebar, it changes from relative position to absolute position once it's a certain size. So when it turns absolute position, we lose the padding. We lose the padding against the sidebar. So we're going to have to address that somehow. For now, we won't worry about it, but we're going to have to deal with that somehow. Let's see, card should have some border radius on it. Let's see, let's see. Laugh my ass off, DW, going to eat in a while. Yeah, get some food, man. Touch some grass, get some food. Good morning, Rock and Brain. Good to see you. I'm doing well. Life's good. My folks are actually in town visiting right now, so I'll probably wrap up here actually in a few minutes.
Did we just become best friends?
Zen, thanks for the sub, man. I appreciate that. Where do I see info on what you're currently working on? So you can do a couple different things. I actually need to update the doing message. So you can always type what bro doing, and that will, let me update it first. Hold on. I am building a personal finance app using .NET, C#, TypeScript, Vue, and SQL Lite. So you can always type what bro doing, and that'll give you whatever the current message is. Sometimes I forget to update it. If you want to see the repo for this project's not like deployed, it's like actively under development and stuff, so there's nothing I can point to and say, here, go look at this website. But if you want to see the repo for where the code is, you can go here. What's your name? Thoughts Orange, at Thoughts Orange. And it's also in the description of the stream if you'd like to go and find the repository that has the code. I found Lovable AI, and that's so awesome for someone who wants to scroll more Facebook. I've heard good things about Lovable. Yeah, if you're not interested in getting good at coding and you just want the AI to do all the work for you, you want the LLM to do all the heavy lifting, Lovable seems like a good alternative. Let's see, I use AI like Google on steroids because isn't it counterproductive to dig into old Stack Overflow threads when AI knows specifics right away? Is there a pro to still Google? You can't. I mean, I don't really think that's not necessarily good or bad one way or the other. I think you should just do whatever feels best for you, right? So if using AI as your alternative to search feels like the right thing to do that. If you still like to surf around on Google, do that. I think I kind of do a mix of the two. Sometimes I use Gemini. Sometimes I search around the 10 blue links. Or sometimes I even just use the AI overview on the Google search a lot of times. Bro, I need your opinion on something. Okay, Suhas. Whatever. I'm happy to give my opinion. Thoughts orange. Oh, thanks. Yeah, of course. Hey Steven, would you like to review my portfolio? For sure, you're more than welcome to send your portfolio over. I don't review stuff like that on stream though, but you're welcome to send it. We have a projects channel in my Discord, and so you are welcome to join the Discord and put your put it in the projects channel. What was I doing? Oh, I was adding border radius. Border radius. We also need a little bit of a box shadow. I'm definitely going to need an add button. I can't decide where the add button should be, though. I feel like the add button should be on the far right, maybe? Let's do that. Let's see what that looks like. So button. Add account. Type equals button. That looks horrible. Let's see. Let's do. Add account button. Oh my goodness, what's happening? Do I have caps lock on? No. Okay, and then let's see, we need institution card. What is the? It's like last child or something like that. Let's see, align items flex end. I think is what we want. No. Let's see, we need. Let's see, CSS selector, last child of type. Last of type. I need to figure out, I need to persist that sidebar state. Okay, so this should be justify content. I'm using the browser dev tool right now, just off to the side so I can. The element is a flex item, i.e. a child of a flex container, but justify content only applies to containers. Try setting justify content on the container element or use justify self. Oh, yes, okay. Yes, you are right. You are correct, sir. Flex end. And this should be align item center like that. Now, why are you putting yourself? Okay. So this should be align items center. And I want to target the last div in the card. So let's see. Target last div in a container. Okay, I'll join. Anyway, I have a SaaS project right now. Hope I got more money. Oh, nice. Very cool. SaaS project sounds fun. That's what I want. That's what I want. So I need to make it a child. Direct child. Like this. And that should be the same for this too.
I'd like to say something.
Have you ever wondered if we are all just characters in a simulation? And if so, is the person playing you currently at the snack bar getting a soda? I have been trapped in this donation box for 3 years. It is dark. It is cold. All I see are bits and bytes. Please, streamer, tell my wife Siri that I love her. Wait, I hear a dial-up tone. The void is calling. Goodbye.
Good one, Uncle Pee-wee. There we go. Justify content. There we go. Add account. I think I kind of want, maybe we can use the accent color. Let's see. What does that look like in light mode? So if we do add institution, or sorry, add account button, and we do var, so color is var, color primary, I think was the name of it. Or was it brand? Maybe it was brand. I can't remember what the name of the variable was. It definitely wasn't that. I think the white kind of looks better though, doesn't it? Yeah. But obviously this is kind of hard to tell this is a button. Needs like some depth around it or something. Let's see. What is the I'm so bad. I obsess way too much over it. I need someone just to do the design for me. Let's see. The text primary. Brand primary. That's what it was. Brand primary. I don't think that looks very good. And when we switch it to light mode, I think it's not going to, the contrast isn't going to work. Settings. Let's see. Theme. Where's the Light mode. Oh god, watch out. Flash. Yeah, see, that's not going to work. I mean, why anybody would ever want a light mode, I don't know. That's just me. All right, guys. Well, I think I've lost my steam. When I'm a millionaire, I will create a chat bot which will send your super chat tour every 5 minutes to remind you to read the chat. That's fine. Yeah, do that. Your opinion on my take. The process is very enjoyable. I'm here for the process.
Did we just become best friends?
The Linux, thanks for the sub. I appreciate that. Coding is like drawing. I know I can do a much better job than I can, but there is some fun in drawing. Yeah, drawing's fun. I'm here for the process too, man. Good morning, Caleb. I shared my 30-day streak in Discord since Twitch hates me. Nice. I love it. I love it. Well, today was a pretty productive day for us from a coding perspective. We actually implemented a feature in Notepad, in the Notepad app. We finished the login portion of the personal finance app. And we had some discussions about AI, which seems like that always happens on my streams. By the way, who did the super chat easy on Discord about the I am speaking from the void chat? I have no idea, Suos. He sounds very fun. Yeah, I have no idea. I do not know. All right, guys. Well, if you're new here and you want to come back and hang out on stream in the future, I'm going to drop my schedule in the chat. It's just 4:15 a.m. to about 7 a.m. each morning. So if you want to come back and hang out, I'll leave the schedule there. If you'd like to engage with anybody from chat or myself outside of the stream, the best place to find us is in Discord. So I'll leave that in chat as well. It's just discord.stevenfreeborn.com. It's very easy. But I think now I'm going to go get some more coffee, have some breakfast, hang out with my family, and I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Sound good? All right. I hope you guys have a great Saturday, if it's Saturday for you, and if it's already Sunday for you, have a great Sunday, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, guys. Bye. Bye, chat. Bye. See you guys. Have a great day.